We are here. Anything you want to say about the last game, Wolf Flossie?
Congrats, TK. You brought the Mudbray, and you managed to get the victory this time. So good on ya.
Yeah, I think it was a really fun match to watch. Sad that it came down to 2 crits in both of those games.
Yeah, it happens. That's the game we play.
It is the game we play, and that's why no one will ever be a professional VGC player.
No, right? It is too. There's a lot of RNG involved. It's very frustrating at times. But, you know, this is Monday Night Friendlies. It's not a competition format necessarily. So we're looking to have fun. But we got another matchup here, and it looks like we're going to see another 2 more of our restricted Pokemon.
Yeah, we're seeing in the chat saying let the Palkia propaganda begin. I'm here for it. This is a very interesting team.
I think Palkia could be very good, especially when supported with the right Pokemon.
And especially because it's now facing up against a Kyogre, the Pokemon you generally want Palkia the most for. So it'll be interesting to see. But what do you notice on the other side on Wolf's team?
Well, there's a Rotom fan, and that is a Rotom form that we don't see very often in VGC.
Yeah, I'm going to say, if you're going to be using an electric type and a flying type on one Pokemon, you're generally, Thundurus, Zapdos, you got a couple of options. Rotom fan is not generally one of them that you see, but we see it now. I'm very interested to see how this is going to work. I think there's going to be a little bit of an issue with dealing with something like the Grimmsnarl Palkia on this team, especially if your only Trick Room setter is that Indeedee, and you don't have particularly any other speed control outside of potentially a max airstream from the Landers or the Rotom fan.
Right, and what we do see too is that Clefairy on Saiyan's team, which the Friend Guard plus Zapdos, I know, is a very strong combination. But then you add screens into that too, possibly. I wonder what attack move this Grimmsnarl has. But it'll be interesting to see. Zapdos Clefairy is very strong. With that Palkia too. One thing I don't really see is if you don't bring the Urshifu, then how are you going to deal with that Escavalier?
Yeah, I mean, like rain boosted.
Zapdos can.
Yeah, I was gonna say Heat Wave from Zapdos or Hurricane from Zapdos, along with rain boosted water moves from Palkia can like kind of help. It'd be nice to have a super effective attack, or even like something like the critting move for Urshifu, or looking at Kartana's Sacred Sword to ignore the Steel Spike boost if we do see the max from the Escavalier.
Yeah,
it'll be very interesting to see how this game plays out.
Yeah, the speed control especially, like you already mentioned.
Mm-hmm. So we see Rotom and Landorus.
Yeah, 2 flying types that are capable of boosting that speed right away. And Clefairy and Palkia are on the other side.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think this Rotom has Nasty Plot, Will-O-Wisp, Eerie Impulse?
I imagine it could have any of the above.
It's Air Balloon Rotom fan.
What?
It's the only triply immune to ground move. And I've got to say, does that even give you like 2 turns versus 1,000 arrows? Like, do they have to pop your balloon and then ground you and then they can hit you super effectively, or how does that work?
I don't know. I played a lot of Zygarde in this format, but that's not one that I've come across yet.
It's the ultimate Zygarde. It has to have like Will-O-Wisp on it too. Then it becomes the ultimate Zygarde counter. Or what you can do is you can give it Trick, so you trick the air balloon onto Zygarde, so then you can Will-O-Wisp it in misty terrain. It's all of the special.
Oh my, that seems like a lot of work.
It does seem like a lot of work, and probably too much work. But we're just gonna see a Helping Hand Wurmwind into this Rotom turn 1 is what it looks like, and if we see no max from either of these Pokemon, I think Helping Hand Wurmwind is just gonna clear something off the field.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that I wouldn't be surprised to see the Rotom fan targeted down here, you know, because it being a special attacker and the Landorus being a physical attacker, of course the Wurmwind is going to drop the physical attack of both Pokemon in the field. So if you KO the Landorus, that physical attack drop not really doing much to the Rotom.
Mm-hmm. As we see the Landorus protect, does the Rotom also protect? Would be the question. It Eerie Impulses right off the bat, and it might survive this one now. It might only do like 75% at -2, but this is still going to be a very strong attack with Illustrious Orb boosted. Yeah, that's strong.
That's a whole lot. Yep.
So
So now if you're saying you might want to do something like follow me, the area impulse away, perhaps. Not let your Palkia, your Maxmon, of course, get your attack stat lowered even more.
And at this point, like, already knowing for game 2, like, you just can't get away with the helping hand. Max move turn 1. And you know that, like, a Max Wormwind into the Rotom would just KO at turn 1 is another important thing. As now we see Wolf dodging another Max move here at full power by just going for the fly. And
I think that's okay if Saiyan decided to target down that Rotom fan again.
Yeah, but it looks like I think we're going to see the Max Geyser into that Landorus slot, and there's 2 Max moves down the drain. The one nice thing is, I would say if you're Saiyan, you probably want to just take out this Landorus here with the Max Geyser this turn while you can. Instead, going for the Rotom, giving the Landorus pretty much a free turn to just come down and fly.
Yep.
So that is important to know.
And Saiyan's max almost coming to an end, and Wolf, of course, hasn't even used 1 turn of max yet, which is always a very important consideration in these games.
Yeah, as we see, switching the Steel type into a Max Wormwind here, and Wolf pretty easily kind of stalled the max out here. Without really taking any damage to something that Wolf would want to max, with the Landorus being one of them, the Escavalier. Escavalier will take a decent amount of damage, even Assault Vest. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll only do like 20% because it's -2. Yeah, that did about what I was thinking there after second thought. And now the Landorus gets, I would say, the ability to switch out, come back in at max attack, and just start going for Quake boosts.
Very true. This might be a good opportunity for Saiyan to switch out that Palkia, maybe bring in something like the Zapdos to start throwing down some heat waves on whatever does come in, and as well as the Escavalier.
It'd be really funny to see the Landorus and the Escavalier both Swords Dance this turn. I don't think we're going to see it, but it'd be very funny to see. But
2 Pokemon that get Swords Dance. I know that Zacian also gets Swords Dance. Zamazenta got the short end of the stick, man. No Swords Dance for Zamazenta.
Well, we're going to see the Max Escavalier at -1, and maybe a U-turn from this Landorus or something of the sort, trying to pivot out and reset its drops. Or we might even just see an attacking move here, or a Swords Dance. All of the above are possibilities. As we just see a Rock Slide into that Zapdos switch and not doing like any damage whatsoever.
Nope. I wonder if that Escavalier, the Max Quake is going to come out, of course. Escavalier gets incredible coverage. This is going to boost the special defense of both Pokemon on Wolf's side, which is absolutely helpful for the Pokemon that you're facing down in the Zapdos and the Palkia as the main damage dealers.
And at this point, like, this Escavalier is not going to take any damage from Palkia. It's not going to take any damage from Zapdos.
No.
Even like a Heat Wave is not going to be doing that much. Your +1 defense, most likely Assault Vest based on the damage we saw from the Max Wormwind. And it's kind of.
And I don't think we saw the Urshifu in the back.
Was it Kartana as the last?
Maybe. I don't remember. I could be wrong. I've said it before. I try not to look at that stuff.
Yeah.
Want to be surprised.
Yeah, and Zora was saying in chat, like from note from experience, Heat Wave's not doing any damage. Yeah, Heat Wave's doing like 30% here. I would be surprised if it did any more than that. And especially if the Landorus switches out into something like Kyogre, it's going to do like 10%. As I think that's what we're going to be seeing here. Oh, we see into the Rotom actually. So, you want to take any guesses on how much Helping Hand Heat Wave is doing to this Escavalier?
I mean, it's still only going to do about, I think, 30% to it. Oh, is that a crit?
No, I think that was just max. Like that was about 55%, I would say, with the Helping Hand boost. A little bit more than expected. But we do see another max Quake here.
The Quake boost.
Yeah, but the issue now is that you've used 2 turns of Dynamax to just take out this Clefairy and take 85% of your health. So what looked like Saiyan was in a terrible spot early on. Now Wolf is looking to be in a little bit of a rough spot here. We do see the Urshifu and the Palkia in the back.
The Urshifu's in the back. Nice. Nice. The Palkia hasn't, although it's used its Dynamax, this Escavalier is coming to the end of its Dynamax. Palkia's still at full health, hasn't been touched, not one time. And now the Rotom fan's out of the way, so you don't have to worry about that area impulse anymore.
Yeah, and it's important to note that Wolf did not bring the Dynamax here, or did not bring the Restricted here, knowing that it's Kyogre versus Palkia, Kartana, and Zapdos. Probably not
Yeah.
the Pokemon you want to be bringing here.
And there's no, lightning rod Pokemon on Wolf's side really either. So no way. You have the immunity in the Landorus, which you could get around that way. So yeah, it is very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you have a pretty free Heat Wave here, I would say. Heat Wave and then attacking into the. We do see the Max Guard, so it's not
an
a Assault
AV. Yeah, that's interesting. I thought for sure, but a lot of people run AV because it does get such great coverage. But that Heat Wave did a whole lot of damage, so it's not that surprising.
Yeah, we're gonna see the Spatial Rend here. Is this enough to KO Indeedee before it can set up the Trick Room? And it is not. So, well, the momentum shifts once again, as this Escavalier now out of max with a little bit of HP left. The interesting thing here will be, is there enough damage you can do with 20% of your HP left to both this Palkia and this Zapdos, and then the Urshifu in the back, with Trick Room turns being somewhat limited, I will say.
Yeah, but with the Palkia relying on Hydro Pump for its stab attack, one of its stab attacks, that can miss, and it does. If you're me, it misses a lot.
Yeah, the important thing to know is the Hydro Pump's really only necessary for the Escavalier. Everything else you can hit neutrally and pretty much 2-hit KO, both the Landers and the Indeedee with Spatial Rend. Yeah. But it is important to know Spatial Rend only has 5 PP left.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see.
If you land a couple into Protects, you could be in trouble.
Yeah. It is kind of annoying with potentially like Pressure Dusclops, Pressure Palkia, Pressure Dialga, things of that sort, with moves like Draco Meteor, moves like Spatial Rend, Behemoth Blade only having 8 PP. You really only get like 3 chances to do damage, assuming you're not hitting into Protect each time. Yeah,
we see the Dazzling Gleam come out from the Indeedee.
That did a lot more than I expected into Palkia. Yeah, a critical hit there.
Seen a lot of crits tonight. The Hydro Pump does connect to the Escavalier, and it is going to be enough to finish it off.
Enough to KO without a critical hit. I was a little bit surprised knowing it got 2 Quake boosts there, but we did know it is not Assault Vest, so.
Yeah. I wonder what the item is then.
I don't know.
It's not Life Orb. It's not Weakness Policy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you would run a Weakness Policy Escavalier, but that would be something very interesting to see. Yeah, we've seen that it's not Akaberry as well because of the Heat Wave.
Right.
I don't know what it could be. It could be something like Expert. Yeah. That won't work because it's not super effective.
It's not super effective. It's part bug. Right.
Yeah. So maybe something like Expert Bug.
Lumberry, maybe.
Or Lumberry. Those are all like good ideas. Again, Dazzling Gleam's not doing particularly that much damage. Hydro Pump should be enough here to take out the Landorus.
Yep.
And yeah, it looks like Saiyan is going to take game 1 here with the Urshifu still in the back. So, I mean, what adjustments do you think Wolf can make for game 2?
It's really bring difficult. Your Restricted for one.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's very difficult to bring the Restricted when literally every single Pokemon on the opposing side of the field has a way to deal with it.
True.
I've never seen a more anti-Kyogre team in my entire life.
Right?
So,
but if you are able to set up Trick Room earlier in the game, maybe get your Kyogre in at a time. I don't know what the EVs are in this, but I assume that Kyogre is EV trained to operate in Trick Room, and maybe you can get some speed control and hit some things on Saiyan's side with a full power Water Spout.
Yeah, that would be really nice, but it's going to be very difficult to position like that, especially knowing that the Zapdos exists and can kind of do like 75% to Indeedee at any point in time. So something like Zapdos and Kartana or Zapdos and Urshifu can kind of pick off the Indeedee, and that's being your only Trick Room setter makes it very difficult.
I agree.
I think the play is to lead Urshifu and something else, and then just max the Urshifu in the face of like Rillaboom and Indeedee, so they can't fake out your Urshifu and get Trick Room up.
All right.
It's a terrible idea, but it's really fun.
It could work.
I'm always like on ladder. I see somebody lead like Kyogre Torn, and I like lead Fake Out and Trick Room, and they're going to expect me to like fake out this slot and try to KO it, and then like Dynamax the Torn and not Dynamax Kyogre. I don't know.
I mean, it can work.
Not
That's the
particularly
thing.
well, but it can
On
work.
the ladder, sometimes there's crazy stuff that happens.
I've had so many people Dynamax Torn against me, and I'm just very confused as to why a lot. So.
It's true. I think there's the Airstream, maybe if it's in a good position on turn 1, people think that, is it turn 1 when they do that?
Yeah, it's always turn 1.
Always turn 1, right?
They do it against my Mimikyu, and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to Airstream and, like, do something else. And it's not even like they led, like, Kyogre to, like, Airstream Water Spout.
Right.
And they just, like, don't KO Mimikyu, and I set up Trick Room, and I'm like, okay, I'm good now.
Yep.
But we see both trainers lock in, ready to go game 2. Saiyan with the 1-game lead at this point, with kind of a commanding matchup advantage, with their 3 strong hitters being anti-Palkia and the opposing, anti-Kyogre and the opposing side having Kyogre.
You see a little bit of a switch up from Wolf in the Rillaboom and the Escavalier. It's going to allow everything on the field to get access to a little residual healing in between turns.
Yeah, something like a Fake Tears Wormwind into this Rillaboom might just pick it off. And there's not really anything that can switch in with now that the Escavalier is on the field.
Yeah, and the Rotom fans, since it didn't come in the front, there's no way to reduce the attack stat of, unless the Grimmsnarl, the Grimmsnarl's not out, sorry. There's no way to really reduce that attack stat of the Palkia.
Yeah, and at this point, we're just going to see it, the Fake Tears Wormwind. If the Rillaboom doesn't go for something like a Fake Out, you just get a free KO and an attack drop into this Escavalier.
Yep.
So, I'm very interested to see if there is a way out of this, and if you just max the Palkia turn 1, max the Escavalier turn 1.
Escavalier, yeah, I don't know.
It's important to note that the Grimmsnarl is Babiri Berry, so will not die to a max Steel Spike. And because of that, like, Saiyan is in a pretty incredible position, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you want to max your Escavalier, though. It looks like it's going to happen, but it's about to be at -1.
It's in a Pokeball, so it could be the Rillaboom. You don't
That's true.
know.
Oh, it is.
It is the Rillaboom.
Huh. All right.
This is interesting. The Rillaboom should survive this turn. But it is important to note that a Max Wormwind is coming out, and if potentially the Rillaboom is slower than the Palkia, it's not going to get a very strong attack off here. As we do see the Wormwind come out, and I think Rillaboom should survive this. Yep. Yeah, that is an Assault Vest Rillaboom based on that damage. We did see the Assault Vest not being on the Escavalier, importantly enough, last game. And now...
Yeah, the G-Max Drum, -1 G-Max Drum solo coming out into the Palkia. Not even going to do 50%, not even a 2-hit KO. And like you said, the Grimmsnarl is Babiri Berry, so it's going to live this Iron Head pretty comfortably.
Yeah, that did not do anything at all. And honestly, at this point, you can Wormwind the Rillaboom, and you can just Fake Tears the Escavalier for the next turn.
Fake Tears that slot. Yep, I agree.
And also, there's this really cool tech that I saw on ladder. I wouldn't necessarily call it a tech, but it's a cool play. As we're looking here, Saiyan is choosing to target the Rillaboom and Fake Tears the Escavalier. A really cool idea I saw on ladder is scary facing your own Pokemon as your opponent sets Trick Room.
Mm-hmm.
So you can underspeed in Trick Room, although it would take like probably 2 or 3 scary faces for Palkia to underspeed Escavalier.
Escavalier, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think this Rillaboom either has to switch out or has to go down here, because based on damage, it's Assault Vest.
Can't protect. Yeah, and we know the Escavalier doesn't have it, so that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so this Max Wormwind going down again, going to knock down the attack stat on this Escavalier again, as it's going to just KO this Rillaboom as well. And it's a pretty sticky situation, I have to say. Yeah,
not what you want to see is your Dynamax Pokemon to use one move and then get KO'd. Not ideal.
Not ideal at all. And I think Wolf was trying to kind of bait the attack into the Escavalier the previous turn. That looks like a
Grimmsnarl's going to live that one too.
Yeah. And now if you're Saiyan and the Indeedee comes in here, you can just double the Indeedee with Wormwind and Spirit Break, and there's not really anything
let it get Trick Room up. Yep.
Yeah. The Kyogre comes in this time. Well, now you have a boosted Max Geyser that you can shoot into this Escavalier if you want to.
Very true.
Another important thing to note is you can just Fake Tears Wormwind to the Kyogre and it probably just KOs.
That is true.
You can scary face. You have so many different options here that you can
Yeah.
do.
Grimmsnarl's good Pokemon, right, Nibs? It's so
Grimmsnarl
good.
is a good Pokemon. I can see him laughing and nodding in the background.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this point, if you scary face the Kyogre, it can't really be Scarf Kyogre and like do anything to the rest of your team. And the Kyogre actually protects as we're gonna see the Geyser, I believe, just KOs a Scavalier unless it happens to carry the Focus Sash and not Indeedee. But speaking of Nibs and the Grimmsnarl we're talking about, we actually have a special grudge match for Game 5 here. Sandtacos and his Guzzlord versus Nibs and his Grimmsnarl. Going to be not next set and not the set afterwards.
Game 5,
set number 5. We're going to be seeing the two of them square off with their two favorites. Special rules. Both Pokemon have to max at one point, and both Pokemon have to come to all 3 of the games. So it is very important to know.
All right, we saw the Escavalier go down to the Max Geyser, of course, and now we do see that Rotom fan was in the back. Probably not. It's probably going to maybe try some Eerie Impulse shenanigans or something, but I really don't see how Wolf can maybe make it back from this when Saiyan's got all 4 of his Pokemon, and these are the last 2 in for Wolf.
Yeah, I think you can just like attack into the Kyogre and scary face into the Rotom, or even scary face into the Rotom, attack into the Rotom and be fine. Yeah. Because you just don't want the Eerie Impulse to bother you for the rest of the game. So you just attack into the Rotom. It potentially doesn't even have Protect, and if it does, it's not that bad. It is a little bit annoying, but you can kind of shuffle around and stall out Rain. You have a Palkia with Grassy Terrain Recovery, and we're just going to see the scary face right away. This could only get scary if it's potentially Scarf Kyogre, as it is Scarf Kyogre. It is.
Opting for Origin Pulse instead of Water Spout.
That Origin Pulse did like 3% to Palkia, so I think we're in an okay position. You're in an okay position if you're Saiyan, because you do have the Sash Urshifu still. And I don't think it's ever been done before, but Wolf will have to hit like 17 Origin Pulses in a row. Not sure if that's particularly possible.
I'm not either. So it's interesting to see that choice of Water Spout, going for Water Spout instead of but probably afraid of like a scary face and an attack into it and weaken your Water Spout anyway.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice here going into the Zapdos. Potentially when that could get Eerie Impulse this turn. So it's just it's not Scarf Kyogre. We had that wrong because the Kyogre did Protect. It's just fast Kyogre and slow Palkia. So I will say that's very important to note. So the Kyogre can go for Water Spout potentially and be the fastest thing, but we do know that the Zapdos will outspeed the Kyogre. And the Palkia will outspeed the Rotom and KO it because of the scary face.
Scary face, yep. Santako saying, is that a joke? Why air balloon on the Rotom fan? I cannot answer that question.
I can answer it for you. I do not know.
Okay.
Rotom fan is the Smogon meme pick for Pokemon Showdown for random battles. It's not an actually good Pokemon at any point in time, but random battles has the same generated. Is that water? Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
That did literally 3 damage to Palkia. But so in random battles, each Pokemon that you get will always have the same set, be the same level, whatever, depending on that Pokemon. So there's only one Rotom Heat set, only one Rotom fan set, and the joke.
The Rotom fan set is.
The Rotom fan set is Levitate, Air Balloon, Flying type, and it might even have Magnet Rise as well.
All right. Well.
So it's just.
So for content, like Up Smash said.
The meme at this point is like 15 years old, or however old DPP is, but it's been there since Pokemon Online and got moved to Showdown, and But we do see the end of this game as Thunderbolt picks off and Saiyan gets a 2-0 victory over Wolf. I gotta say, Palkia is a really good Pokemon to have in a matchup versus Kyogre.
For sure.
It's pretty crazy that Saiyan could kind of clearly win these games without even needing the Kartana, another great Pokemon against Kyogre, because of how great all the other Pokemon were in the matchup.
Yeah, agreed. Well, that was fun.
That was fun.